Balls.
Most of y'all probably have at least two. Some balls are heavier than others.
Not all balls are the same size, or even color. And why are some of them kind of squishy?
But what about bear balls? Nick, stop talking about your ball sack and get to the point. Well, two things. One, no. And two, there's something in my ball sack you may want to see. Welcome to the Oso Fury Pickleball Review. First things first, these balls were paid for by me, with my own money, because I was tired of killing X40s and core balls out in the cold. Now, I've been playing with Oso balls as my primary plastic spheres for the better part of the last 2 months. And the Oso Fury is kind of an enigma. The performance is equal parts a blast and kind of confusing. In a nutshell, I think they're fun to play with. They're fast, and they don't break on me, even in the cold or during real banger games. They're a bit heavier, which is nice in the wind, and I feel like it lets you put a little bit more behind each shot. They are, however, a noticeable departure from the rec balls people are often used to playing with. The speed and kick off the ground of these balls just allows for much livelier and faster points. It's kind of like playing with a Dura, but it's less annoying because the balls don't break every other game. I've played with these Oso balls from just below 40-ish degrees to well over 70, and the only ball I ever lost was sent over the fence. None have even started to crack. I have heard from other people playing with Oso balls that they have had their balls crack like 35 degrees or below. However, I think with the prevalence of pickleball and how much the sport is growing, people are going to have more and more places to play indoors during the winter, so the temperature thing at those extreme temperatures hopefully will become less of an issue for everyone across the board. So is it worth making a switch? Sure, if you want a ball that plays quick and just won't quit. But if you're playing with a mixed crowd, I'd consider carefully. The slightly heavier feel and livelier bounce than, say, a Franklin X40 really benefits players with hard strokes and lots of spin in their game, and that can be very alienating for new players or older players who prefer the slower pickle of yore. Here's a really unscientific comparison of the Oso Fury's bounce next to all the other balls I have on hand. The Oso is always on the right. Sometimes, the Oso balls also seem to go a little funny shaped. After a few banger hits or a rough edgeguard smack, sometimes the ball looks to get smacked out of round. They'll get back to it fairly quickly, fast enough that I have a hard time getting it on camera, but I've had 5 separate sessions where players comment to me about their concern with the ball after a few games with them. According to Oso, the balls are partly designed to bounce true in spite of a perceived funkiness, and they admit that in the colder weather the balls can get a bit more lopsided than normal, but as the spring wears on and it gets warmer, I still feel like I'm seeing some Oso eggs on occasion. I've asked them a few times for a bit more clarification on how their authentic bounce technology works, that's what they're calling this, but I didn't get it. They must be busy doing bear things, I guess. So that leaves me in a weird spot. I think that they're a fun ball, and even though some of us think we see the balls out of round, they don't really play like it, so we trust them. However, I can't definitively say that it's not just me getting used to the balls and their quirks, but all balls have their issues. The X40s get really soft and fuzzy and blow a mile off court in a stiff breeze. Now Duras, they're the exact opposite of their namesake. They're super brittle. Plenty of other balls are fine, but the bounce is just kind of dead. The other thing to consider is the price. At the time of recording this video, you'll pay $36 for 12 Oso balls, or $28.50 for 12 Franklins. You could also buy 12 Durafasts for $38, but no one wants to do that. I mean, I feel like the only reason you spring for the Duras over the Osos is because you're playing PPA or MLP or APP or some other event where the official ball is a Dura and you're like really trying to compete with exactly the same parameters as the tournament. But if that's you, I feel like my videos might not actually be the kind of thing that you're watching. So I think you've got a decision to make here. You spend $36 and you get 12 basically invincible quick playing balls that you may perceive as being a little funky from time to time, but that funkiness won't actually affect the play. Or you save a few bucks, buy some cheaper balls, maybe an extra roll of overgrip with the money you saved, and accept that eventually you'll give those balls the slam of death. So that's kind of where I am with the Oso balls. I like playing with them. I don't know if they're like going out of round any sort of amount that would really affect the way that they play,
but visually they do seem to go a little funky from time to time, but it doesn't seem to matter so much in play. Even if it does affect the play, it can't be that much because it's not caused any sort of clear plays where it's like, yeah, that was definitely because of the shape of the ball. So if you can trust the authentic bounce technology, I think they're solid, I think they're fun. I like that they're heavier, they don't get blown around as much in the wind. I feel like any ball is not gonna be invincible. They're gonna die eventually, but at least with these, it feels like they kick on a little longer than your other brands that I think I see out on the courts a lot more frequently. The price is something that you're gonna have to figure out on your own, but I mean, I kind of prefer playing with them over Franklin's at this point. I don't have a code for these balls. If you want to buy some, I think the Pickleball Pirates still is working with them, so you can get 10% off. But yeah, check them out if you want. I don't mind them. Now, if you'll excuse me,